Welcome to Talking About Sports, the Carolina's #1 podcast for sports. We're here with an all-star panel, as always, a cast of thousands. The United States Navy via the Arkansas Razorbacks. The founder of the Clother Classic, William Wilson. From West Virginia University, Mountaineer Mike Freer. From the Independent Tribune of Concord and Kannapolis, my hometown paper. It's my hometown now anyway. Guys, a lot of stuff going on with the Carolina Panthers. William Wilson, you don't have Cam Newton to kick around anymore. The shoulder injuries and woes have caught up with him.
I've been giving Cam props all year. Have I not?
Well, you've been very good about it.
You're very critical of him all year, for years, plural, I think, Will. But you got your wish. He's out of the lineup.
Cam's like that girlfriend you dumped that doesn't want to tell you why, I want to admit why you dumped her, so she keeps making up different stories.
Let's not get into let's not get into women here. Well, we've already had some discussions about women. All right, but with your honest thoughts, I saw that cover every game, 26 years of covering NFL football. But I got to admit, the defense for Carolina played extremely well. The offense, Christian McCaffrey threw more touchdown passes than Cam. 12-9, a final score. You hold the Saints to 12 points, you can't win. Will, they got to do better than that.
They got to. It was the quote, John Fox, they picked a bad day to have a bad day.
I remember that quote. I remember that game.
I think they – try to turn my volume down on my phone. I think what ends up actually happening is – Huh?
Yeah, you got a ring, man. It's not your boy. It's not your boy Kevin because he's here, right?
Actually, I was tuning into the broadcast so I could make sure I could talk to the people.
All right.
Like Jordan Hawkins,
okay,
who comes in and says Alyssa Morrison.
You got more connections than Duke Power, Will. We know that.
But it was just time. The defense has always played well. Carolina's defense has been good for at least the last decade. Their offense has always been spotty at best. They have flashes of brilliance followed by dashes of mediocrity, but they've been serviceable. They'll have some times, and I think when Cam got hurt, I think they'd have been a lot better. Cam's shoulder is hurt, I think, a lot more than it was.
Absolutely.
But because he was playing a lot better, he was having a career season. But on top of that, even you look at Cam at his best, he still overthrew guys, underthrew guys. He still wasn't the most accurate guys, even though he's had a much better accuracy this year and playing better. So he didn't have a lot of room to work with. So he couldn't necessarily. It wasn't like that shoulder. He could work his way around that shoulder, keep his numbers up.
We knew. We've been talking about it for weeks that his shoulder was looking bad, and he put on a good face. I mean, to his credit, he didn't use an excuse. He never mentioned it, to best of my knowledge. He never used it as an excuse until it became too much. I mean, I bet you if they were 8-6 now instead of 6-8, he would still be playing right now. He would still try and gut it out, do whatever he could to try and be on the field. So to that, I give him props on that. It's just, it was so clear on Monday night. He's just not, without that shoulder, his motion was bad, his accuracy, which wasn't as good as, it's never been his strong suit, was really off, especially in the last drive when they really could have used some downfield throws to get him in position to tie. He just didn't have it. And it's a shame, as you said, Kevin, to waste a defensive effort. You're at home and you hold a team like the Saints, one of the best teams in the league, to 12 points. 9 times out of 10, you go win that game. It just with a guy with a bad shoulder throwing the ball, it's really tough.
To loosely paraphrase William Wilson, winning cures all ails, and there's no curing because there's no winning. And I think they got to get better play from the quarterback position. They're going to get it. Taylor Heineke, is that the guy's name?
Yes, it is.
That's stepping in. He's the new starting quarterback, and they signed from the practice squad Kyle Allen from Texas A&M, Gig'em Aggies, by the way. Shaq Thompson placed on IR, so that's going to hurt the defense because I think Shaq Thompson's a good football player, and he's having a very good season. So Thomas Davis, Luke Kuechly have got to really pick up the slack like they have been. I think you're going to see a lot of these with Atlanta, with Matt Ryan spreading it out with Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Mohamed Sanu. Those are 3 good weapons. They got a good tight end as well. You're going to see a lot of the 4 DB packages with James Bradbury and Dante Jackson. And Captain Munnerlin's going to be the nickel. Hopefully Corn Elder can pick up his game because Matt Ryan's looking at that defense saying without a pass rush, there's not going to be much. He'll have a lot of time.
Yeah, it's the season's over as far as the playoffs go for the Panthers. We've known it for the last couple of weeks. Monday night put an exclamation point on it. I mean, if you want to go percentage points, or it's fine. It's over. But for Panthers fans, the last 2 games, if you're a Panthers fan, you're still definitely worth watching. You're playing the Falcons, who I don't know any Panthers fan that doesn't want to beat the Falcons under any circumstances.
Right.
And you get the Saints, which you played them to the limit on Monday night, and maybe you make them have to go on the road in the playoffs or something. Ruin their. You got to be sick of losing 4 in a row to them going back to last year. So there's still something to play for, or something reason to watch for Panthers fans. You're not going to have much of a lineup as the season goes, with that backup quarterback with Shaq Thompson out, things like that. But there's still reason to watch. There's still reason to pay attention.
Plus, there's only 2 weeks left. So if nothing else, these are your last 2 weeks to get a chance to watching the Panthers play football. So it's not like it's mid-season. You've only got 2 more games. So that gives its own sense of urgency on top of it. And like you said, 2 division games. And if nothing else, the Panthers can play spoiler a little bit. Maybe knock New Orleans down a seed or something, or just something that they could do. Big shout out to Jeff Hood tuning in.
The Hoodies Classic.
Is it Hoodie Classic?
Hoodies Classic. Can't wait for that. 27th, 28th, and 29th, Rocky River High School. Super spectacular card of national high school basketball. Definitely going to pick that up. Now, Will, we have talked about it in weeks past. Mountaineer Mike losing 6 in a row, potentially 7, hopefully not 8, hopefully not 7 or 8. What about heads rolling? I mean, the NFL is you're judged on wins and losses, and if you get more losses, the NFL stands for not for long. You see more heads rolling. We've seen 2 coaches fired already. You see Ron Rivera and Marty Herney going by the wayside.
Right. Before we do that, we're talking about wins and losses. Let's talk about some winners that's tuning in. Ro Breezy is tuning in. Eddie Gwinnett tuning in. I was going to try to get you guys earlier, but Kevin really excited about what's going on this weekend with the Panthers, so we want to make sure you got that out there.
He's the only
Chica
one.
Mack. So thank you guys for tuning in. And my homeboy Kevin Porter
in the
is
house,
actually in the building. So we may see what Kevin thinks about bringing Kevin Colbert. We'll think about bringing Kevin on here, because Kevin and I talk. If you guys listen to the show, Kevin and I talk trash all the time. He's my best friend, so we talk a lot of trash. So Kevin may let him come on here and talk some trash, defend himself on air. See, that's what we do for the fans. Let the fans come in sometime and grace us with your presence.
As
now,
they say,
you talk about winning, curing everything, Kev.
We're for the many, not the few, right, Will?
That's right.
As far as the front office and the offseason, what lies ahead, it's going to be interesting, because you have a new owner. These weren't his guys. He basically inherited these guys. But he also comes from a place in Pittsburgh where continuity in your coaching staff is a big deal. Mm-hmm. So what does he take? He's well within his rights to get whoever he wants. And I'm a fan of Ron Rivera. I think he's a good coach. After a while, though, sometimes it gets old. Sometimes your voice gets old. That doesn't mean he's not a bad coach. Sometimes a change is needed. I was a big fan of Steve Clifford with the Hornets. I think he's an excellent coach. After a while, a change is needed. And you're well within your rights. When you go into the tank like this, you're right. Some changes are going to be made. Is that the head coach? I don't know. As far as the GM goes, I think Marty Herney deserves another year. If for no reason, he hit a home run in the draft last year. Mm-hmm. He got some quality players, and
middle and late round selections that are contributing on special teams and in certain packages.
Yeah. Dante Jackson, DJ Moore, the guys you just mentioned, middle round guys. I think that gets you another year. This was never supposed to be a Super Bowl contender. We kind of built them up to be that before the season, and when they got to such a good start. But if you look back, they needed a 63-yard field goal to win a game. They had a massive comeback against the Eagles, who are a much better team now than they were then. So, I mean, did we rate them too high when they were doing well, or is this where they should be? It's a tough call.
Well, I think it's we live in the age of superlatives. 3 good games, they start breaking out all you're on track to do this. You're on track to do this. Could they go to the Super Bowl? Our barometers change with every game. And I think the Panthers are a lot better team than we think they are. Where the head goes, the body follows. Cam's shoulder got hurt, and it just affected everything. Because there's 2 people who touch the ball every play, the quarterback and the center. And if your quarterback isn't where he needs to be, and like you said earlier, he's not the most accurate to start with, and he's got that kind of injury, that's huge.
Yeah.
Couple that with the fact that Christian McCaffrey leads the team in rushing yards, passes caught and passing yards as a
Probably completion
as a small
percentage
running
after
back,
Monday night.
as a small running back, which tells you Cam not distributing the ball.
Or
On
he's
top of
distributing it. He's not going deep. He's
Yeah.
dumping it off.
But he's dumping off to the same guy for
Right.
the most part. That's what I mean by distributing.
Yes.
So if you're a defense, you don't even have to plan that much against him. You make the occasional. Even when DJ Moore, who he said he's been playing well, when did DJ Moore caught a pass over 8 yards?
Oh yeah, they're trying to get him in spot. The nice play he had where he fumbled was a little handover, a little
Yeah.
pass, and he burst it up the middle, and then he ended up fumbling the ball. But yeah, they're trying to do anything to get him the ball because Cam can't get it down the field.
Yeah. So and teams figure that out after a while. If guys like me and you, well, you're a sports guy. I'm a suit guy. I'm a suit guy and a NASCAR guy. If I can
hard to
figure this
tell.
out, the guys who actually get paid to do this would know this much further, much quicker than I would. And they just figured out. I think the Panthers' injuries just hurt them. They just hurt them. When the main guy is hurt, there's only so much. The defense has been steady all the time. But I think they weren't as good as people hoped they would be. They were better than they thought they would be. Then they came back to being worse than they were because they took an injury they didn't plan on taking.
Yeah, I agree.
We have any questions on
Why wouldn't Tepper fire Rivera and Hunt?
why would not? Is that the question? Why would not new owner David Tepper, why would he not fire him? Why would he not fire Ron Rivera? I think Mike pointed out he gives Marty Herney another year. I'm going to say this about if they fire Ron Rivera, I'm hoping my Washington Redskins fire Jay Gruden, and the first call they make is to Ron Rivera. He's a quality man. He's a quality football coach, and he could turn things around. But like you pointed out, I think accurately, Mountaineer Mike, sometimes change is needed. A different voice needs to be heard.
Ron Rivera didn't get dumber in a year. He didn't forget how to coach in a year. So it's not like all of a sudden he just decided he didn't know how to coach. He's a good coach. You got a team to a Super Bowl. He had quality players. It's just
All right, we'll pick that up when we come back on the other side of the break. William Wilson knows NASCAR, he knows suits, and it seems like fast guys who win races and championships wear William Wilson jackets, suits, and tuxedos. That's what we got to say here. We're here at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill. This is Talking About Sports.
At Heslop Wealth Advisors, our goal is to help small businesses develop quality retirement plans for their employees through our Lunch and Learn seminars. We provide lunch and learning tools to help your company succeed and unmatched customer
You buy a
service.
new house, you renovate it. The sinks and bathrooms may work just fine, but you still renovate.
All right, we're back with more Talking About Sports here at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill with William Wilson, Mountaineer Mike Freer, Ryan Hedrick off camera with Kevin Tolbert. You guys did a great job on the Hornets last night. But, Mike, we were talking about the head coach and general manager. Heads may roll, not for long sometimes is the acronym for the NFL. I personally think, like you pointed out, Ron Rivera nor Marty Herney got dumber in a year. They're both, I think, quality individuals. They've had good drafts for Marty Herney, good productive win-loss seasons for Ron Rivera. I think they should keep them both. That's just my 2 cents, and we can pick that up there.
Well, yeah, like I just said, it's understandable if you want to make a change. We just talked about it a second. The man, David Tepper, spent billions of dollars on this team, and maybe he wants his guy. Maybe he has somebody in mind that he wants as head coach. Maybe he's ready to clean house and get his guys in there. But I don't put it this way: if Ron Rivera gets fired, I don't want to be viewed as he's a terrible coach or whatever. I think it's a matter of a change has to be made. Let's mix things up and let's get this team consistently winning. They still have never had back-to-back winning seasons, so there's a reason. There's something behind that. So any dismissal of the GM or the head coach to me is just not a reflection of, because more often than not, guys get fired because you're 3-12 and your team you prove not to be a good coach. That's not the case in this spot. It could get fired. They could get fired, but I don't think it's a reflection of them as coaches and general managers.
No, I agree with you. And sometimes we said off air. I said sometimes you buy a house and the house has a perfectly good kitchen, but you still want to renovate it because you want to have it look like your kitchen. Everything works fine in that kitchen, but it doesn't look the way you have your plans of what you want your house to look like, and that doesn't look like that. Sometimes you just want a new look. You just want a different feel when you walk in. Like you said earlier, sometimes you want to just change up the place. If you're gonna fire Rivera, I think anyone that knows football knows, Ron Rivera is a good coach. I mean, I think that's a given. People know that.
Well, you watch too much HGTV, I think.
So you're still gonna
Property
get the job.
Brothers.
No, I used to own a construction company.
Well, that's
But I think on top
you own
of it,
everything.
more so, if you're going to get rid of Ron Rivera, now's the time to do it.
Yeah.
Bring in a new culture. Right now, there's a losing culture in that locker room. You're about to bring in somebody else. They're coming in off of a losing season. So if you're going to do it, now's the time to do it. Again, I don't think it's a reflection on Ron Rivera, because I think Ron Rivera is a good coach. If he gets fired Thursday, somebody will be making him an offer Friday night.
Yep.
So he won't be on the books long. I would not be surprised. Now, I have no inner thoughts. It just popped in my head once I sat at the booth. When I got smarter, I didn't stay at the Hollywood Express or nothing. But I think what I would be surprised if Norv Turner doesn't get bumped up.
So, well, as an interim coach, if they go,
head coaching experience.
well, not a very good head coach, I might add, by the way.
Can better. It wouldn't surprise me. Now,
Ask any Washington Redskins fan; they'll tell you what a horrible head coach he
But
is.
everyone's horrible at Washington because it's a crappy program. It's a crappy organization. It's a crappy football team playing in a good conference. They're the after child. They're the afterbirth after the baby comes out.
Preach it, William.
Come on, man.
So it don't matter who
Preach it.
comes
Man, we've been around for a long time. We're not any of these redneck
y'all
Dallas
suck.
Cowboy fans around here, man. Come on,
Y'all
man.
have sucked for a long time. Last
Wait,
time y'all were
we beat the Cowboys once this year.
When you guys are relevant based on who you play. That's who you are. Look, let's watch the Redskins play the Cowboys. Let's watch the Redskins play the Patriots. The only people want to watch the Redskins play is they're playing somebody that they actually like watching.
We are America's team, man. We're the real America's team.
It's not all about the coaches. Washington had a lot of coaches come through there
Well, that's
who
true.
haven't done anything. So it's not like Norv Turner was the only one that sucked there.
Well-
pretty much the last person that didn't suck in Washington
Joe Gibbs.
was Joe Gibbs the first time.
He was good the second time too. They got in the playoffs the second
but
time.
the league had passed them. Huh?
Your mom's not tuned in. What's up with your mom, Will?
I'm at the text her, see what's going on. Mom's usually in by now.
All right.
But you, because you're really hard on Norv Turner. Because
I am
he
hard on
stuck
Norv
with the
Turner.
Redskins, but everyone that's made the Redskins has been bad.
Well, not everybody.
Now, I got to go to figure out who all we need to make sure we give our shouts out to for watching the show.
Everybody, man. I tell you one thing. Now, if you're, say, Marty Herney, Mountaineer Mike, I think he's going to give Dr. James Andrews or Dr. Curtis Yoakum a call, shoulder specialist, and maybe get that shoulder examined, maybe another procedure. And if it's Tommy John surgery, you know from you love baseball, shoulders and elbows are the worst things for guys who throw.
Sure.
If you're going to have like Tommy John surgery, you're looking at a year. So you better be thinking about drafting a quarterback or acquiring a guy on the market to maybe carry the ship till about maybe mid to late season next year.
Well,
Guy like Joe Flacco is going to be available.
I don't have a problem. Joe Flacco's not nearly as bad.
I think he's a winning quarterback.
Super Bowl champ.
Yeah.
So it's not. Put it this way.
By the way, people scoffed at me when I said Lamar Jackson was going to be a good quarterback. I think I was proven correct. I saw the guy play in college. I knew he was going to he was going to be a good NFL guy, and he's proven me correct.
After just a few games, huh? He's already a good quarterback.
Well, I think he's a good.
Okay.
I mean, look at the results.
All
You know
right.
what? If we can call
He's
Andrew
tough
Luck
to
a
game
good-
plan for.
If we can call Andrew Luck a good quarterback after 3 games, if we can call Baker Mayfield a good quarterback after 3 games,
Baker Mayfield's a good quarterback.
Mahomes a good quarterback after 3 games. We call Jackson a good quarterback after 3
Okay.
games.
That's-
If we're going to set the standard, we got to be consistent with the bar. We can't say these guys. Andrew Luck was a good quarterback before he got to training camp in NFL somehow.
I'll go further. I'll say
So-
Josh Johnson's a good quarterback right now. The Redskins' 4th guy. I mean, he's better than Mark Sanchez. That's for darn sure.
Now, big shout out. Going to give a shout out to Toya Goody, Jordan Hawkins. I think we said earlier. Eddie Gwinnett. My boy Jeff Brokaw's in the building. Tom's great grandson. Not really, but it sounds fun. And Tiffany Dobbin and Marcin Lepre. So, and of course, my boy Kevin Porter sitting over here to the side.
He's over there. Is he heckling us or you?
He's taking us on air.
All right. And Mark McLean, if you're watching, and Nate Bristow down in down in South Carolina running Tommy's Auto and Diesel. Now,
but
do
just to get back to,
do you draft a quarterback or you sign a free agent?
Well, I think it depends. At some point, you're going to have to think about the future without Cam. How soon that is, who knows? But it's hard to speculate when nobody really knows what the shoulder is. You still don't know. It could be a tear somewhere. Listening to the sound on Cam the other day when he announced he was going to, step down the last 2 games or sit out, he doesn't know what the situation. He's been doing everything to get it fixed. If nobody knows yet, it's hard to speculate on what to do. Now, when they find out, I'm sure they'll find out. They'll send him to a specialist, whoever it may be.
Exactly.
And you go from there.
You got to give him props for as long as they were mathematically alive in the playoff hunt, he wanted to tough it out and lead the team. You got to give him that.
Props for that. We just said it at the top. I think you never heard a word about it. You knew it was a problem, but he never said anything. He obviously, the thing I've always respected about Cam Newton, from the time he came into the league to now, he's a guy who put in the work to be a really good quarterback. You could see the way he plays. He got better. He has a grasp of the offense. It comes naturally for him. He's not the greatest quarterback in terms of accuracy or any of that stuff. We know that. He has a different element with his legs that not too many other quarterbacks ever had. You watch the great ones, the Tom Brady's, the Roethlisbergers, all these guys. You watch them now. It's easy for him. Everything's in slow motion for him. Cam is getting to that point. When he got into the Super Bowl, he was at that point. You could see the work he put in paying off. So I have major props for Cam as far as that goes, and as far as toughing it out and not saying a word.
And I will give it credit where it's due. Will Norvell Turner has been a good coordinator and guru for Cam.
Absolutely.
You pointed that out all year long, and I've seconded it. Norvell Turner has been good, and Cam has embraced the Norvell Turner style of West Coast offense, not always having to go deep, using those checkdowns. I think I'd like to see that relationship continue, and I think this team, hopefully, they'll stick with Ron Rivera and Norvell Turner, and then hopefully a repaired, if you will, Cam Newton can come back with reinforcements in the draft and be right back in the playoff hunt next year.
I totally agree. If he's healthy, I would have loved to see what the Panthers would have done if Cam's shoulder wouldn't have gotten hurt. Sure. I would have loved to have seen it. 2018 Cam Newton in Super Bowl 50 probably ends up in Super Bowl MVP because he has enough quarterback skill now that you had to respect his quarterback skill. I had 2 clients that played for the Broncos that year. They had no respect for Cam's quarterback skill.
Whoa.
Matter of fact, one of them called me 15 minutes after the Panthers won the NFC Championship game, gave me their game plan, told me what the Panthers were going to do, and the Panthers did it. He called it as if he'd already seen the game. Now, because Cam just hadn't developed like he has now, Norv Turner developed Cam into a real quarterback instead of just an athlete.
We said at midseason, or I said at midseason right here, I said he was on his way to having a better season than he did in his MVP season. He was on his way to having that type of season, and I think you're right. The injuries just caught up, not just with him, but with a lot of the guys on the team.
Okay, now Ryan chimes in. He makes a really good point. He said Cam's contract makes it appealing for teams to invest in Heckle. Cam's got $22 million on the line for 2020. $22 million.
Yeah,
you can get a lot of guys for that.
You can get a lot of suits at William Wilson Clothing for that kind of money.
Exactly. Now, if you bring,
I'd like one.
Right, so
several
if
actually.
Heineke comes in and he can play well and can compete for that starting spot, where it doesn't like the Panthers are going to lose too much, it may be worth making that transition. Because I don't know if Cam's one of those quarterbacks, the skill set stuff that Cam has, he can't necessarily teach that to someone else. You can't teach 6'5", 240, 4'5", 40, big strong. You can't teach that. You just
it's like Bobby Knight used to say, you can't teach height.
Exactly. So I don't think Cam has his strongest skill sets can't be taught. They had to be passed down for his hereditarily.
Well, if you do that, if you go that route, then you might as well, for lack of a better, blow it all up and go with a new coach, go with a new GM,
and boom goes the dynamite.
If that's the route that they decide to take, which isn't at the
I think the rest of the team is solid.
But you just go the whole 9 yards, and then
Look at what Baltimore did with a Super Bowl winning quarterback with Joe Flacco, a productive starting NFL quarterback. They draft a guy like Lamar Jackson. They're coming in. He comes in as a rookie. They're winning games. Why can't Carolina look to the draft and maybe get a guy like your guy from West Virginia, Dana Holgerson's guy?
Will Greer,
who I'd love to see in Washington, by the way. But maybe you draft somebody if Cam's shoulder is that much of an issue, and this is still a team that's win now team. You go that route. Maybe even you look at Joe Flacco even.
And plus, and football players, there's certain injuries. Once they start having them, they always have them. Once your shoulders and stuff start going bad as a quarterback, they always
ask Johnny Unitas.
You don't have a shoulder injury and then you had it 5 years ago, but it doesn't bother you again. It becomes a recurring thing.
Drew Brees was able to recover
you had to be able
from
to throw that
his.
football. Yeah, but Drew also don't take a lot of hits either.
Oh yeah, all right.
Drew dumps the ball.
Now before we
Drew
got to
get sacked a lot. He knows how to get rid of the ball. He knows how to run away from it. He can scramble when he needs to. He doesn't take unnecessary licks.
Yeah. Now, I pointed out that you remember Doug Williams played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He came in running, not so much a runner like Cam, but still he ran a lot. Mm-hmm. But then as he went through the league, went to the USFL, then came back to the NFL with the Redskins. He had developed as a pocket passer and a very accurate one. Yep. And he came and won a Super Bowl with the Redskins. Now in the front office assistant, he's vice president of the team now, doing a good job there. But he evolved, and maybe Cam can evolve from running to more of a pocket guy and learn how to throw. So we're going to, speaking of throwing, we're going to look, Kevin Tolbert's got this great feature from the Fulton Science Academy in Alpharetta, Georgia, where the middle school basketball coach threw a full court pass. And
you said that you're going to make
threw a full court pass. You got that ready to go with that? All right, we're going to talk over it. Is that what we're doing? All right, so a full court throw. It goes all the way in, and she's going to promise the team ice cream. I mean, for a full court shot. Can you not do a little better? I mean, how about some pizza and ice cream?
But you said
maybe as long as I'm not picking up the tab, I'll buy him pizza and ice cream. How about that? So that's a pretty good deal. I like that. The Fulton Science Academy in Alpharetta, Georgia. So that's pretty good.
Not bad.
That's good. All right, we're going to come. We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we've got some college football notes, college basketball, Charlotte Hornets to talk about. We're here at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill. This is Talking About Sports.
At Heslop Wealth Advisors, our goal is to help small businesses develop quality retirement plans for their employees through our Lunch and Learn seminars. We provide lunch and learning tools to help your company succeed and unmatched customer service.
All right, we're back here at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill with Mountaineer Mike Freer, William Wilson, Fulton Science Academy in Alpharetta, Georgia. The coach threw the ball very accurately. Maybe Carolina could go down there and pick up an extra arm, bring into training camp, because the way it looks, they're going to need some arms.
That's a long distance to throw, so I wouldn't.
It's
I wouldn't
court, 94 feet?
I don't know how that gym is, but yeah, most of the gyms are like that.
What if Nolan Richardson had 40 minutes of hell and for 94 feet?
Yeah,
something
absolutely.
like that.
Yeah.
And we won a championship with doing that, too.
That's right.
Right here in Charlotte, I believe, the old Charlotte Coliseum, right?
Is that the old Charlotte Coliseum? Beat the Duke Blue Devils 2 hours from their home. I flew halfway around the world for that game. I came literally from La Maddalena, Italy, flew in for this game, watched the game, and then flew back to La Maddalena. So I literally flew halfway around the world to watch my Razorbacks win a game.
Were you deployed in the Navy at the time?
I was. I was on the USS Scranton. We were on a med run.
All right. That's Mediterranean for all of us, right?
Exactly. Yes, the Mediterranean cruise.
All right, good.
For those who went to smaller schools.
Right. Pig Suey. We need to get John Daly in here.
Pig.
Speaking of Pig Suey, by the way. Now, the old Charlotte Coliseum. They referenced it last night on the broadcast, the Charlotte Hornets broadcast. Mountaineer Mike, you and our colleague Ryan Hedrick, at all the games. A very up and down ball club. Seemingly, you guys pointed out in the pregame hit here on ADSN that they play to the level of competition. Sometimes good, sometimes not so good. Last night, they made the Cavaliers look like LeBron was still with the Cavs.
It was very disappointing to see the start that they had based on all the things that were in their favor. You had the Cavaliers, who aren't a very good team.
No.
Coming off a second game of a back-to-back set. They got an emotional win over a good Indiana team, so you figured that was their win, and they weren't say mail it in or whatever, but they weren't going to have the same energy for the Hornets game. And you have the Hornets, who had 3 days to think about the embarrassment of losing to the Lakers.
That was an embarrassment.
The night after losing to the Knicks in overtime, another bad team, and then see them come out to play the way they did, down 13 in the first half. Kemba clearly just didn't have it at the beginning. As Ryan pointed out, something's not right with him shooting-wise. It's off. And then it's amazing. When he got going, so did the Hornets, and that's the MO for this team for the longest time. No matter what they do, no matter who they add, as Kemba goes, so go the Hornets, and that's how it was last night.
That's a dangerous way to have a team, because what that tells me, that's a team that lacks confidence in itself. That's a team that lacks confidence in its teammates. They're saying, okay, daddy's gone. What do we do?
It's a disappointment too, because there's more talent, or their talent that's there should be better than what they do. We talk about Nick Batum all the time. Where is he to pick up the scoring slack in general, but certainly when Kemba doesn't have it? I mean, where is Jeremy Lamb came through with a nice double-double last night.
I love Jeremy Lamb.
He had a good game overall, but where is the consistent scoring to help Kemba Walker out? And certainly on nights like last night, he needed help, and fortunate they were only down 13 because they didn't have the energy. The Cavs came out with much more energy, and the Hornets nearly paid for it, but they got in gear. Kemba got going, and they really tore it up in the second half and really put the clamps down, what they should have done in the first half we were expecting.
I think they suffer what we keep talking about. We've been talking about this all season. We talked about it last season too. Like you said, where Kemba goes, the team goes. And I think what happens, because no one has had a chance to consistently be that second guy. Everything always comes back to Kemba. All worlds come back to Kemba. So these guys don't trust Malik Monk to take over. They don't trust even Tony Parker to take over. They don't trust Nick Batum to take
Miles
over.
Bridges.
None,
Jeremy Lamb.
Bridges is a rookie, so I can understand them maybe not trusting him so much at that point to take over. But these guys that have played together a long time, been in the league for a long time, they're completely lost. It's like when Peyton Manning got hurt with the Colts, and they just mailed in from that point.
They did. Curtis Painter or Mike Painter, whatever his name was.
And they just mailed it in. At some point, pride has to come in.
I agree.
At some point, you got to have pride. You got to say, you know what? Our guys are. We're going to play for him. We're going to win one for the Gipper. At some point, you got to solidify around something else to be able to play.
What's disappointing is, they're at 500 again. We mentioned last night for the billionth time this year. It's 14 times they've been 500 this year. They could only be 500 15 times with their record so far. They're 15-15, so that means it can only be. They've been 14 times. They're 500.
Yeah,
that's incredible. And they're in a division where they can really run away with it, because
it's a wide open division.
Nobody wants to win it. The Wizards are a train wreck. The Magic are better than they were, and they're still under 500. And there's a division to be. They're going to make the playoffs. It would take a monumental collapse, like the Panthers type of collapse, for the Hornets not to make the playoffs this season. But then what kind of team are you going to have to bring into the playoffs? Now,
Will brings up a good point. It's Kemba and a group of mid-card guys, as we'd say in wrestling, and underneath guys. Do you go, Mountaineer Mike, guys are available, guys like Bradley Beal, the Wizards, who reportedly the Hornets have expressed some interest in. But what do you got to give up to get a guy like Bradley Beal to be your Kemba's number two?
Well, that becomes the issue. You when you're the Hornets.
Think Ernie Grunfeld's dumb enough to take the Nick Batum off your hands?
No.
Okay.
I mean, he could be dumb enough. I don't know why he would. I don't think he is. Why would you want to do that? I mean, why would the Wizards want to give up a quality player like Bradley Beal, and get back. Who's a good guy? He's not a head case by all accounts, Nick Batum. It's just that contract. It's the production he comes up with does not even come close to matching the contract.
Well,
Why would you want to do that?
I think the thing is, and my mom's tuned in, so hi, Mom. And she says, hello, guys.
All right.
I think the problem is, to get anybody worth coming here, the only thing the Panthers have to really offer is Kemba. And you're right back
Or the
where
Hornets.
you are.
The Hornets.
The Hornets, I'm sorry. And you're right back where you are. The
Well,
only thing you can do, you got to give up Kemba to get something worth doing.
You're going to have to pull the trigger and give up to get a quality player like a Bradley Beal, an all-star. You're going to have to give up Miles Bridges.
Oh,
You're going to have to give up a Malik Monk, who I don't know if that would be enough. And along with a draft
the
pick.
Squirrels would be happy if
You're going
Malik
to
leaves
have
town.
to give up
That's all I
quality
can tell
to
you.
get quality. Now, are you in it to try and be a competitor and have a backcourt of Bradley Beal and Kemba? I would like that personally. And if it's worth giving up Miles Bridges, you got to give up something to get something.
Well, that's true too. Maybe some draft picks. Frank the Tank. By the way, they came in the walk through the press box. I'm standing there with Muhsin Muhammad in the Panther press box, and I'm looking down the hall. There's all these tall guys I couldn't see. It's all way down the. And next thing you know, here they come. There's Cody Zeller, Frank the Tank, Michael Jordan even walked by, and he comes over and shakes hands with Muhsin Muhammad. I think he's coming over talking to me, but he hangs out with Muhsin Muhammad and their buddies and all that. But good seeing the Hornets coming in supporting the Panthers, and maybe they can throw in Frank the Tank, Cody Zeller, some draft picks, and match up a few salaries and not give up a Miles Bridges.
Let's just be real for a second. We had this conversation for 3 seasons now. It's about time for the Hornets to, I think at this point, because you got a new coach in, I think it's time to just have a fire sale. Find 3 or 4 guys that you may think is worth keeping, and let everybody else go and just rebuild.
Well, the longer they stay at 500 or right around 500, the question's going to be about the future of Kemba Walker as a Hornet. Because I don't know of anybody who's a Hornets fan who doesn't like watching Kemba Walker play. He's the greatest player in the franchise
He's a
history.
draw.
He's going to have his number retired. He's their all-time leading scorer. I'm a huge fan of him. He's one of my favorite all-time players ever to watch. But are you going to give him a 4 or 5 year deal if you're the Hornets? At age, he'll be 29 when next year begins, with all the wear and tear on his body. There's no doubt that he deserves the money.
So you want to sell high and get a lot of assets in return and rebuild, like to William Wilson go the fire sale. By the way, suits are on sale at William Wilson Clothing. I've been reading online, but are you going to go with the fire sale and sell Kemba and take and say you got to take Batum with you?
It's one of the. It's you totally could. It's just one of the big, unbelievable decisions that's going on with this team, because not just because you could do that, but you have a player, Kemba Walker, who wouldn't mind staying here. By all accounts, he would love to be here. He loves being here already. He would love to sign a max deal to stay here, which is great. You want somebody. You want players to want to stay.
Why don't players want to play for Michael Jordan?
I don't know. I don't know why. They certainly don't mind paying the money. Nick Batum got his. Marvin Williams got his. Cody Zeller got his.
Marvin Williams also already has a ring too.
Yeah.
So,
but it's an interesting dilemma for this franchise, because you have a franchise player who wants to be here, and now the Hornets have to decide, do we want to give a guy that size a max money for 4 or 5 years, because the wear and tear on his body, the way he throws around the court, he's not going to live up to the back end of that deal.
Yeah, he's gonna be Allen Iverson with less time.
And then where's the franchise
AI.
be then?
But here's what I think. Here's what I look at when you ask. Because you're right. Franchise leading scorer. The fans love him. People love him. And you know, if they got rid of him today, it'd be in the news cycle. It'd be the sports cycle for 3 days, and the fans would just move on. Everyone was upset when the Panthers got rid of Steve Smith. You know what? By the time the next season started, they were over it. They talked about it when the Panthers played the Ravens, and then they talked about it since then. Fans move on. They just do. Because they actually have lives to worry about outside of sports. They move on from it. They'll fuss for a couple of days, they move on. But I think you look at Kim, and Kim is a great player. I'm with you. He's a great player. He's a good guy. He wants to be here. All those are pluses. But at the end of the day, it's about taking a ring home, or at least contending for a ring. Kim has been the best player on this team. Kim has been today what he was last year and the year before, and every year We're hoping to get to the 7th, 8th seed or squeeze into the playoffs. So obviously you're not winning with him. At some point you got to try something different.
No question. And that's the interesting thing about it is Kemba would be well within his rights to get there in front of the camera and say, you know what, I've done all I can do here.
I think he's too
wanna go
classy
to
a guy. If he
contender.
did that, he'd go behind the scenes and
or whatever.
keep a straight
Absolutely.
value.
Right, he
Class guy. He's a
absolutely
class
could do it.
guy.
And
You know what I
I don't
meant.
think anybody would fault him for wanting to do that after all the time he's put in here. After being on the worst team in the history of the league his first year
Wow.
they were by
Wow.
percentage points. They had the worst record in the history of the league. And to go from that to where you are now,
So he's Fred Carter, the best player on the worst team.
yeah, 20
All right.
point scorer on the Sixers.
I'm just
back
saying.
then. No, it's not bad. Not a bad place to be.
Remember Fred Carter from the Sixers?
Fred's
That-
one of my good friends. I worked
Wow.
with him for years.
There you go.
He's one of my, he taught me more about the NBA than anybody else I've ever been around. Fred Carter. did.
was he Mad Dog Fred Carter? Is that-
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
There you go.
he's a great guy and a great knowledgeable guy about the sport. But it's a real dilemma with Kemba Walker because he's well within his rights to say, you know what, I want to go somewhere and compete. I'm running out of time. I've wasted some of my best years. He wouldn't say it like that because he's a true pro.
But it's true.
And it's true. And he's well within the rights to do it. And he could be probably accommodated if he actually did. But he doesn't do that. He likes being here. He likes being a part of the community. And now the Hornets are in this dilemma like, well, what do we do? Do we honor his wishes and make him sign him up for long term? It could hurt our franchise in the long term.
Right. Here's and this will sound cold. It's not meant to sound cold because it's got nothing to do with Kemba. It's got nothing to do with personal. The NBA is a business.
Sure.
You're a businessman, Will.
At the end of the day, it's about what is going to get us to win. The Hornets are irrelevant. The Hornets haven't been relevant in that building. They've been playing that building how many years now?
A while. They've been there a while.
They've been there some years.
Oh, about 10 years, yeah.
And they haven't. Not only are they not nationally relevant, they're not relevant in Charlotte.
Yeah, they're really teetering that line between. You're absolutely right. They're really close to being on that. I don't think they're irrelevant, but I think they're really close to being on that line.
Yeah, but the thing is, you shouldn't be close. We're the 27th largest, I think, 27th largest.
23rd. We're the median market, 23 now.
You shouldn't be almost irrelevant in a town this small.
When you've already controlled the town your first time around.
Yeah,
here.
and you controlled the town when it was much smaller.
Yes.
And you weren't winning, but they had names that people recognized, not just one. You had Grandmama and Alonzo Mourning.
Oh,
you had these names and stuff that people
Muggsy.
Dale Curry.
You
had those guys, and some teams. Right.
Yeah, the free agency. Can you get other guys in here? If let's say
guys want to go. Think about where we are. Think about the guys you're talking about.
You go all over the
Young
country,
guys,
Will.
We're talking about millennials. We're talking about these guys want to see themselves on Sports Center. The Hornets are never on Sports Center unless they're the team that LeBron dunked on or the team that.
They don't get any national games either.
Whoever. No, they don't because they're not relevant. If they could sell those games, if the advertisers in New York City could sell the Hornets to the rest of the country to make them care, they would get national games. But they don't get them, and that's why they don't get them. The proof is always in the money. When it comes to business, the proof is in the money. If the nation cared about the Hornets, the nation would see the Hornets. The Cowboys can lose every game this year and next year, and we'll still get 3 national games.
Well, I'm hoping that happens.
People would tune in and watch them win or lose. People don't care if the Hornets win or lose because they don't see enough of them.
We'll never know
to
because
care.
they don't.
They got good
consistently
uniforms.
Yeah, I'm saying.
They got cool
win. When
colors.
If they go and they win they have a 50-win season, and Kemba's the star of that team. Now you get some relevancy. Now
Right.
you get.
When was
now
the
you
last
get
time they had a
50
50
win?
win?
Now free agents want to come play
Yes.
because I'm going to be on television.
And I'm going to play with a guy like Kemba Walker.
When was the last
I'm not
time they
playing
had-
with a guy like Kemba Walker and be 500?
Exactly.
When was the last time they had 50 wins? Was it Dave Cowens and the Hornets 1.0?
Yes. And the problem was, 3 years ago, they had a really good season when they pushed the Heat to 7 games. They made the playoffs, and they had the first year
They got
with
the
Nick
guy
Batum.
from Memphis, Courtney Lee, right?
Courtney Lee, a great player, great solid player. And they had a decision to make after the season on whether or not to sign Nick Batum, who was a big part of that resurgence. And they
Buyer's
signed him.
remorse.
And I thought they
And
should
you
have.
pushed for that.
I pushed for it. I thought they should have. And it's turned out to really be a problem for this franchise because that contract is just tough. All he's got to do is produce just a little bit more than what he does to make, and he just can't do it. He just can't do it on a nightly. How can you not score when you're him 15 to 17 a night?
Where do they finish in the end of the year? They're what? They 6 now?
I
Six?
think they're going to be 500.
I mean, all right, 500. But what does that get you? Does that get you sixth place in the Eastern Conference?
Yes, it does.
One home game in the first round before you get swept out.
Well, you'll get 2 because it's a best of 7 series, but who knows? I mean, I think there'll be a 41 to 44 win team. They'll win the division because nobody else wants to, and they'll get in the playoffs. And we'll see what they end up with.
They better hope they don't run into Milwaukee or Toronto.
They'll get Milwaukee, Toronto, or Boston, and they'll be done in 5 games.
I think Toronto and Milwaukee are above Boston. Just how I see it. But and you pointed out Milwaukee's a very tall team. I think they're the tallest team in the league.
They're a freakish team to watch play because
with the Greek Freak leading the way.
They are really, really tall. They really are. They really do the job on both ends of the floor too. They're a solid team. They're an absolutely solid team.
Well, I can't wait to see the playoff picture out west. I think the Spurs are hot lately, but I think they're lottery bound because I don't think they can sustain it. I think LeBron has really energized the Laker roster. Not to mention the fan base. I think the West is still wide open, and Golden State I think is starting to come on. But watch out for Denver. You don't want to play them on the second night of a back-to-back at 5,000 feet in elevation.
No, but you know what? I'm with you on the Warriors. The Warriors are kind of just, I don't want to say they're going through the
rope-a-dope
motions
right now.
They're getting healthy, and now they're starting to play better. And at the end of the day, I don't care where the Warriors finish in the standings in the West. When he comes to a series with the
Can
Nuggets
you beat
and
them
the
4
Warriors,
out of 7?
who are you going to take? I don't care where the Nuggets finish. I don't care where the Warriors finish. If they match up in a series, I'll take my chances with the 2-time defending champs, who will have DeMarcus Cousins back, by the way, and have 5 All-Stars on their roster. That's ridiculous.
Only one basketball, though.
Well, it's been working so far.
There's only one basketball every time. They won a lot of championships.
You mentioned it. You know who leads the league in assists every year? The Warriors.
Yeah.
They pass the ball. They don't mind. They all get theirs. They get their rings. They get their money. They get their fame. They're all going to go in the Hall of Fame.
It's like Will says, winning cures all ails. Have we heard any heat between what's his name, Kevin Durant, and the other guy,
Draymond Green?
Draymond Green. Have we heard any more heat?
No.
Because they're winning,
pros.
right?
They're winning. Here's another thing. Real quick. My uncle lives out in California. My uncle Ken Freer, if he's watching, shout out to him. He's a big Warriors fan. He goes to a lot of Warriors games.
You go to West Virginia?
No,
Good.
He went to Buffalo right there, University of Buffalo.
The Bison, right?
Former Air Force member. We were talking about the Warriors last night, and he was curious about. He's a big Warriors fan. He was curious about how it was going to be when DeMarcus came back or whatever. And I told him, I said the same thing right now. The Nuggets are having a great year. The Warriors are getting better, but they've been hovering up and down. They've been inconsistent. When the series comes down to it, you match them up. You can have the Nuggets, and I'll take the Warriors. But the idea of Kevin Durant one day leaving, it's like, why would you want to leave at the end of the year? Why would you want to leave the Warriors? Why would you want to do it?
I could see Kevin Durant leaving, and I can understand it to a point. Only in this instance. He's got the fame, he's got the money, now he's got the rings, but because of the way he left Oklahoma City and went there.
Oh, don't bring that up to my friend Chandra Tyler.
Exactly. There's a cloud that hangs over his head, like when LeBron left Cleveland.
Wow.
I think KD at some point, because KD
he's a Redskins fan. I'll give him that.
Now you're limited as to where you.
All right,
actually go.
we're going to go to a break here now. Want to shout out to Kenny Letts of Fight Lab Promotions. Just saw him walk through. Big fan of ADSN. When we come back, we've got more talking about sports right here at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill.
At Heslop Wealth Advisors, our goal is to help small businesses develop quality retirement plans for their employees through our Lunch and Learn seminars. We provide lunch and learning tools to help your company succeed and unmatched customer service.
All right, welcome back to Talking About Sports. We're here at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill with Mountaineer Mike Freer, William Wilson, and Roy Williams is going to get paid. It seems like all these Tar Heel head coaches are getting paid. Contract extensions, Mike. I think 8 years. Is that correct? Roy Williams, very deserving, good coach, good man, good golfer, and he's won national titles.
Yeah,
you pay a guy.
There is a I don't want to say a culture change there, but you bring in Mac Brown to change around the football.
They're going back to
program.
the future.
You stay secure with Roy Williams. Your basketball program is always first and foremost with the university. And obviously, he can still recruit. He brought in a really good recruiting class. He's a great developer of players because he's got, in an era of one and dones, he's done a lot of his success with guys who are seniors and juniors. So he doesn't need the McDonald's All-Americans anymore to be a.
They don't hurt
to win. They don't hurt, but he doesn't need them. He doesn't need to compete with the Kentuckys, with the Dukes for the McDonald's. He can do that, and he can get one or two, but he doesn't need 5 or 6 to have an impact.
But they're relevant. North Carolina, to me, it's still Duke and North Carolina, and then the rest of the ACC. You're playing for. I used to think Syracuse was in that mix. Louisville used to be in that mix. They're not now, but it's Duke and North Carolina, then the rest. And North Carolina is a national brand. William Wilson, as you talk about, they're a draw. When they want the regions, when they go to these other towns, North Carolina, you see a lot of gear in the crowd. They're a big draw, and I think North Carolina is going to keep getting guys to play there to keep them in the forefront. They're on TV.
Exactly, and that all goes to Freer's point. He has earned the money because he's not doing with five McDonald's All-Americans. Every time somebody comes to Carolina, it's not a 7-day sports media drive. Where's he going to go? Oh, he went to Duke. Oh, he went to Duke again. Got it up. Went to Duke again. It's none of this. He's doing it with. I'm not going to say second-tier guys. The second-tier guys don't go to Carolina.
Right.
But he's not have the elite of the elite. He's doing it with just regular elite players.
Right. And
he's able to still they're relevant all the time. They're in the hunt all the time. 99% of the league will take Carolina's down year. So when you look at what Roy Williams has done in Carolina, the culture, he has continued that legacy.
Is he better than Coach K?
And did it his own way.
Is he better than Coach K?
Which is better, hot dogs or hamburger? I like both of them. The league is better because of both of them.
True.
Yeah. He plays a style that's really enticing to kids too. It's a really up and down style.
Yes.
A lot of kids want to play that type of style, and it pays off. Obviously, the wins speak for themselves. The championships speak for themselves. He wants to keep coaching. Clearly, like we said with Ron Rivera, he didn't get dumber overnight. So he still knows how to do his job. He still knows how to get the guys that he wants to get there. So it's a good move all around.
I've covered a lot of games in Chapel Hill, and they can easily go 10 deep on certain nights and run you, and that's a very entertaining brand of ball, like you point out, Mike. Yep. They play an entertaining brand that guys want to go there, play, and be on TV because North Carolina is still a big draw.
They're a top 10 team. Four times they've topped 100 already. They just whooped the heck out of Gonzaga.
A very good Gonzaga team.
Yeah, top 5 team. They beat the heck out of them.
And most importantly, North Carolina offers millennials millennials and Gen Z, the two things they care the most about.
Wi-Fi. That's one of them.
Okay. I talk with Freer. The two things they care about, they're going to be on ESPN,
right,
and they're going to get drafted.
True.
Yeah. They don't. These kids coming today don't care about the history. They're just like the rest of us. We were kids. We didn't care about the history of franchises and the history of colleges. We cared once we became a part of that history. Once we got older to appreciate it. Right now they're like, can I get on SportsCenter? Can I get in the league?
He's also got his 25,000 seat arena that you can point to when you bring the recruits.
It's full.
This sells out every night. Imagine playing in front of this crowd. I mean, that's a huge draw. That's the Dean Dome. So there's a lot of things going on. I think it's a really good time. Obviously, a good time in North Carolina Tar Heel athletics here between Mac Brown, who had a good signing day, and Roy Williams. You're secured. You're
who also had a
what
good
North
signing
Carolina
day.
does.
I
He had
got
a good signing day too.
You think about this, Mike. You're gonna you go on the road with the Independent Tribune. I've covered dozens of games at the Smith Center and at Cameron Indoor Stadium. The first time you walk into either one of those buildings, you feel it. You know, college basketball lives here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. You walk. I remember the first time I walked into the Smith Center. I walked into that and I got into the open area, and I'm looking around and I see all these jerseys hanging from the rafters. Charlie Scott, guys like Bob McAdoo, Mitch Kupchak, Michael Jordan. I mean,
Yeah.
Tyler Hansbrough. The names it's a long list of quality guys.
Now, for you and I, that's a big deal. And I could talk about
Billy Cunningham.
Last month,
Larry Brown.
Last
George
month, I
George
was
Karl.
at Reynolds.
We got it,
Coliseum.
Kevin. We got it.
Last month I was Reynolds Coliseum at NC State, and I felt the same thing. I looked at the arena, I was like, wow. And I thought about all the great players that had played in that gym. But to you and I, it's a
David
big deal.
Thompson.
But to William's point, that's not as big a deal to kids today who don't, most of them probably don't know who Charlie Scott, and they should.
I don't
They
know who
should.
Charlie Scott is.
But he was the first ACC African American to play. in
He's
the
a
ACC.
groundbreak. He's a pioneer.
Yeah.
Played for the
Hall of
I
Fame.
played for my hometown Virginia Squires in the ABA.
Right, but see, I'm a Razorback. I could care less about ACC football. But this goes to all of your points.
Did Sidney Moncrief go to Arkansas?
Yes.
All right, he's about the only guy I can name from there.
This goes to Kevin's point. I know, Kevin, I know your panties all in a bunch, but I'm about to make your point and back up what you're saying.
About time. Get rid of the Cowboys and we're on.
I could care less about ACC football, basketball, or anything else. I remember the first time I went to the Dean Dome. The hair on my neck stood up. I was like, wow, this is where Jordan made this shot.
Right.
Yes, sir.
This is where this happened. And I'm like, I could feel the history. And I could not care less about ACC sports if I tried. And I could feel it. Just like when I went to Cameron Indoor. When I went inside, I was like, wow. You could feel the history. You could
Absolutely.
just feel it's like when you get off the plane in New York City, you just feel there's something in the air. You just feel. You feel that you're supposed to win. I felt like I could put on a Tar Heel jersey and get you 15. And plain and simple. I felt like I could walk in there and score 15 points just on the adrenaline I felt from walking around on that floor. So
And-
I get what you're saying.
And not to
Kev.
mention, when you're in North Carolina, you're going to play Duke twice a year. You're going to play in one of the best conferences, if not the best conference. You're going to play the Gonzagas. You're going to play the Michigan.
Kentucky.
One of the top. You come play for me. We're going to play the best, and you're going to be on TV doing it the whole time, and everybody's going to see you.
They played on the ship. A year or two ago, they played
the
Michigan State on the
aircraft
ship.
carrier,
They played on the aircraft carrier. You had to like that, Will.
Yeah, I did.
All right. Well,
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, I don't hate Carolina. I don't hate Duke. I don't hate the ACC. I just don't care one way or the other. I'm a SEC guy.
outside of Kentucky, who the heck is good in basketball in the SEC?
But it doesn't matter if you're good or not. I'm an SEC guy. I'm not a bandwagon guy. I'm a SEC guy first. I'm a Razorback first. We never win another game for the rest of our lives. I'm gonna still say Woo Pig and still wear my red and white because I don't care about all that other stuff.
Just not as often.
Right. Exactly. But I respect what the ACC. The ACC is basketball. The ACC minus John Wooden and UCLA and Kentucky basketball. The ACC is college basketball.
It is. It's Duke and North Carolina, pal.
Plain and simple.
Tobacco Road. If we can get an NC State and Wake Forest,
So why
job,
not?
guys.
Why not
basically.
secure one of the best coaches in the country for 8 more years?
Exactly.
As long as he wants to coach.
He earned every.
Final thought. But let's save some time. We got final thoughts. William Wilson, what do you got?
We came on it quick, and I had a chance to put my thoughts together. But
All right,
final
well,
thoughts, here's my final thought. I like the Panthers letting Cam sit out. Cam. I hope Cam's shoulder. I hope it's not as bad as some people think it may be. I hope it's something really minimal and minor that he can get a good, easy treatment in. I hope it's not a Tommy John type thing or something that's going to linger him for years and years. Because I'm finally seeing Cam be able to play the kind of football he wants to play. Turn the quarterback everybody hope he can be. He can have another 10 years playing. And I hope this isn't something that could really damage his career down the road. So I wish him a speedy recovery on whatever's going on with his shoulder.
My final thought is, I'm with you, Will. I was kind of a little caught off guard there with that one on that one. But I thought about this recently with the Mountaineers played in the Camping World Bowl or whatever it's called down there in
I've
Orlando.
heard of the Camping World Truck Series.
That's fine. And Will Grier, their star quarterback,
Love him.
decided not to play.
Wow.
And wants to concentrate on getting prepared for the NFL draft. And it's a growing trend the last few years. It's happened. When it first happened, there was a lot of controversy over, well, what kind of a teammate is that, and all that stuff. And I don't remember how I felt at the time, but I do know how I felt now. I'm pretty indifferent to it all. If a player, after spending 4 years or 2 years in Will Greer's case, wants to leave and wants to prepare for the draft, I have no problem with it.
All right.
He put in his time, and
We got to wrap it up here. Shout out to President Obama for going to D.C. Children's Hospital and Major League Baseball and the Obama and Trump administrations for opening up Cuban baseball to Major League Baseball. For Kevin Tolbert, William Wilson, Mountaineer Mike Freer, I'm Kevin Casey. So long for now.
Whoop big.